Jake Van Dorn is a businessman from Michigan, a conservative, religious, single father. His wife left him, and he has a teenage girl, Kristen. While on a church trip, Kristen disappears. Jake hires Andy Mast, a private detective. Months passed, and Mast has something to show Jake. It's a porn film which may star his daughter. Jake heads to California himself to try to find Kristen. Hardcore was made over 40 years ago, and it's still an uncomfortable, compelling story about sex trafficking, female sexuality, and a religious man's having to confront the messiness of the sex industry. He also has to confront his own failures as a father. Schader is famously from a Calvinist background. That gets mentioned a lot because it's a way into what drives him. His father was a strict Calvinist until he died and never saw Schader's films, or those of his brother Leonard. But after their father's death, the brothers found sealed video copies of all of their movies among their father's belongings. The collision between a man's devotion to his beliefs and those things forbidden by those beliefs that he must deal with is what Hardcore is all about. In the course of Jake's search, he meets Nikki, a prostitute played by Season Hubley. You may remember from her very short appearance in Escape from New York before she was yanked out of the film by some really large rodents under the floor. Jake and Nikki are very different people, as different as, say, a father and a daughter. Theirs is the central relationship Hardcore depicts, and it's compelling and unique. How many movies are about an aging father and a woman he considers a horrible sinner exchanging views on the world, including sex and religion? Nikki knows so much about the industry that may have swallowed up Jake's daughter, to a religious sort. She could be leading him straight to hell, but Jake follows her into some very dark places, hoping to rescue a daughter he may not know as well as he thinks. Shot by Michael Chapman, who shot Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, Hardcore feels seedy and realistic. It's obviously the model for 8mm. 8mm has good qualities. It feels like a genre horror movie, whereas Hardcore feels real. We see how Jake is using Nikki to find his daughter, and we see how Nikki sees this strict older man as the father she desperately wants to save her. Without spoiling the ending, it's the key to the whole movie. It's also one of the things that people talk about to this day. After some brief thriller movie violence, we see how everything shakes down, and finally who these people really are in the day-to-day world. The final seconds show us the whole character of Jake and what truly matters to him. And it also says something about how someone who has deep morals can mess with someone else's life for his own purposes, just as easily as anyone else in the horrible corners of the world. I can see him having his son's unwatched movies sitting in a box back home. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you drop by again soon.